Hi, friends. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Katie, and welcome to Okay, but Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about our favorite TV and media with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today we're talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe limited series Agatha All Along. This series spanned 9 episodes that aired over 7 weeks between September 18th and October 30th, 2024.
This episode contains spoilers for the entirety of Agatha All Along. If you haven't finished the season yet and would like to avoid spoilers, now's your chance to go finish the season and come back and listen to us once you're done. This series is a spin-off continuation. It follows the Marvel character Agatha Harkness after the popularity of her adaptation in the MCU show WandaVision, where she was portrayed by Kathryn Hahn.
Agatha All Along follows Agatha Harkness after she's been woken up from the Scarlet Witch's spell, trapping her in the identity of the nosy neighbor and stripping her of her magic. Once freed, a teen, Heartstopper's Joe Locke, whose name is hidden behind a sigil, convinces her to walk the Witch's Road and regain what she lost. They assemble a coven of witches: Lilia Calderoo, a divination witch portrayed by Patti LuPone; Jennifer Kale, a potions witch brought to life by Sashir Zameda; Alice Wu Gulliver, a protection witch played by Ali Ahn; and Mrs. Hart/Sharon Davis as their Green Witch, portrayed by Deborah Jo Rupp. They travel down the Witch's Road, facing trials to make their way to the end. On the way, they encounter dangers unseen before and eventually seek the help of another Green Witch in Aubrey Plaza's Rio Vidal, the original Green Witch, and Agatha's ex. Will they find which they seek, and more importantly, will they make it to the end of the road alive? So we don't really have like a structure for this episode. More or less, I want to say 8 minutes after finishing the first 2 episodes of Agatha All Along, I said to Katie, "We're doing a special about this when it's over, right?" Like almost
Of
immediately.
course. Almost immediately.
Because this is very much our brand of chaos.
And we started having like this like mini ritual that every time an episode came out, and within the last like 10 minutes after the episode was over for both of us, because we would start pretty much at start time.
Yeah.
We were texting each other.
Mm-hmm.
To the point my husband would look over like, "You're texting her already?" And I'm like, "Shut up."
Well, like we say this a lot about how like TV, like we don't have a lot of shows that like air week to week that we want to watch. And like I swear, I really think no show has made me want to sit down at a time and watch it every week quite like Agatha All Along, probably since Once Upon a Time. Like, and I don't
wow,
have
yeah.
to, and I don't have to. It's on Disney Plus. It's up whenever I want to watch it. But it's the case of like 9:00, nope, it's Agatha time. I'm sitting down and I'm watching it. Because like even with Ghosts right now on CBS, like I remember that it's on at 8:30, and I usually forget until about 10 p.m. I'm like, oh, there was a new one today. Let me go watch that.
Oh yeah, it's always a situation of like, wait, is there a new one? Let me go watch it, since I binged the whole thing in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But it's so good, and it's the same for me. To the point, I will say, to the point, I went 3 weeks without internet due to Hurricane Helene.
Yep.
Literally, at one point, had no power. I charged my iPad in my car. We used a hotspot on one of our phones just to watch the new episode of Agatha All Along. I was grateful to at least have signal to be able to watch it.
Yeah.
But I was so dedicated. I watched it on my iPad 3 weeks in a row. Out of the 9, like, what is it?
It was 7 weeks of total airing, because it was a 2-episode premiere and a 2-episode finale.
So almost half I watched on my iPad just to be able to watch it.
Also, context, we both rewatched the entire series today, so our thoughts are real fresh.
Very fresh. Because it's a whole nother experience. If you haven't gone back and rewatched it since the finale, oh my God, go back and rewatch.
It takes about 5.5 hours, but I recommend it.
Is that how long it took?
That's how long it took me. However, I will counter with this, and when we get to the ranking, you'll know which episode it is. There's an episode that I cut out a chunk because I just don't find it personally interesting, and I don't need. I know what happens. I know what happens now, so I cut that out. But I also took a break at one point to like make food. So I think altogether the 5.5 hours is still accurate to like how long it takes to watch it.
I wonder how much the actual like runtime is, because the credits on all of them are obscenely long.
They're 6 minutes long.
Yeah, they're long. So like you'll look into it and be like, oh, this says 43 minutes. It's not 43 minutes.
No.
So subtract the credits. Do you want to go episode by episode just talking about them, since there's only 9? Or because I don't even know where you want to start, because I wrote down a lot.
As did I. Like, I've got my notes are not as, or I think by the sound of it, your notes are a lot more organized than mine. I have sections, I have lines, but I do have like episode notes.
Okay.
So we can go episode by episode, which is that's fine.
Which, I mean, like so much of it is, it's literally just the song.
Yeah.
That's what the titles are.
Yeah. All of them. They're all they're all lyrics from the Sacred Chant version, with the exception of episode 4, which is a line specifically from the cover version, or
Which
Lorna Wu's version.
is important.
Yes, is important for that episode.
So
But the mayor of the first episode, Agnes of Westview, like they do like the true crime theming with that. So that entire episode is a spinoff of The Mayor of Easttown, which is a TV show that was an HBO miniseries that was
I
starred
heard
Kate
that
Winslet.
one.
Yeah, so it starred Kate Winslet, and she was a detective who was investigating a murder in a small town in like the suburbs of Philadelphia, which is why it took this many watches of the first episode. I've watched the first episode more than I'd like to admit. But that accent is very much of like the Philadelphia, that area of New Jersey. So it's very heavily pronounced. So it's very clearly doing like an impression of the mayor of Easttown.
I mean, the Westview residents are super fucking patient, though. My God.
Yeah, they are.
They're just like, okay, here we go again.
It's nice that like they were checking in on her. They were bringing her food. Like it's assumed that everyone she sees in that hallucination is coming to visit her. I would assume she didn't actually leave the house like that.
It does look like when she went to like the police, whatever, or like the library, she was going to a different house though, because that's like when the police chief is like, "You need to go home." It's because she was in his house.
That makes sense.
Please go home.
But then, to be fair, the interrogation room is her living room.
Yeah, so it's weird, right? Well, I guess being next door neighbors.
Well, because the thing is, like, he says you need to go home, but she says, "I am home."
See, it's so hard to tell. It really actually is hard to tell.
Well, because of everyone that she meets in that hallucination, Rio is the only one who's actually underneath the filter of the hallucination. She's the only one who, what she's saying, what we hear her say, that's actually what she's saying.
And like I want to point this out, like one of the first things she says when she's like, "What are you doing here?" She says, "I'm here to do my job." So that right there, like, I know later on we find out she's death. It was pretty, I found it fairly obvious. Like I was like, no, she's death. This is too, like just her like laughing at the Ouija board alone. I was like, nope, she's doing like a lot of things. I've also have been a practitioner of witchcraft for like 12 years now. So even with the Green Witch moment, I was like, that's death.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
So from the beginning, she flat out was like, "I'm here to do my job," and she's coming to see Agatha. Agatha was supposed to die from the beginning.
Exactly. Like, and also to be fair, if you have Aubrey Plaza in your show of witches and you don't make her death, what's wrong with you?
Everything.
Like, because so much of Aubrey Plaza's portrayal of Rio and death and all of it is just like, it feels as if the direction she got was, "I think you got this. You go do what you want to do." That's what it feels like 90% of the time. She does an amazing job with it. We can't really fault her for that.
I really loved the line, though, when she's still Agnes. When she's talking about the case, she says, "The specific small town, the history of it, the people in it, the secrets buried beneath it, that's where the answers lie," is pure foreshadowing for the entire series. But it's all while she's hallucinating. And it's just watching that today, my brain is just, exploding. And I'm like, oh shit, like the writers did such a phenomenal job with this freaking show. It is so good.
Yep. It's so tight. It really is. And it's just, I feel like the more we watch it, the more we're going to pull out of like the performance and the writing and the wording and how all of this goes, because there's just so much to it. But I noticed this for the first time. I saw someone else pointed it out on TikTok. And then when I watched it, I paid attention to it in the credit sequence. That's like the true crime sequence. There's flashes of that first coven that she kills with the witch's road con. Like they're very quick, but they're strewn all throughout that opening sequence.
Did you notice too in the first rendition of the ballad for the opening credits, he's not saying Witch's Road, he's saying Winding Road.
Yeah,
which we find out in I'm calling episode 9 the extended credit scene.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Episode 9 is a 40-minute post-credit scene.
That's what that is. that just takes me back to Nikki
Writing
when
it,
he
yeah.
starts singing The Winding Road. And I'm
Mhm.
just like, they really went, I mean, I say this in a very serious way. They went full circle,
They
which
did.
is a huge theme in this because it's not just death, it fits with Maiden Mother Crone, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
as well, which
Mhm.
is such an important part of the storyline. We literally watch Agatha go through each step.
Yeah.
And that is like such a quintessential thing when it comes to witchcraft. So I just want the names of the people they use because they research
Yep.
the crap out of this, the accuracy, the I mean, they obviously they used many different movies and shows before them because I
Mhm.
know you saw a lot of things that hinted back at The Craft, Bewitched, so even Charmed,
Mhm. Yeah.
so many different things. So I would like to know who helped them, who they consulted with, because I want to give them a big hug because this is
Mhm.
a you need to consult people. Like they did the same with The Craft. The Craft had a Wiccan consultant that worked
Mhm.
with them
Oh,
on
that's
it.
good.
So when you see that they actually take note of that and like make sure they're doing it in a, I want to say the correct way,
Mhm.
even though witchcraft has many ways, but they did such a good job with this.
Yes, they
I
did.
saw so many things that I was like, oh my God, it's done right.
And that's good. I like knowing that they've done all this correctly because, like,
hmm
you like when shows show reverence to the thing that they're using. Like, that's always important. I always say this anytime anything Jewish is involved, and there is Judaism in this, but also I'm certain
Yes.
there were Jews on the writing staff. Um,
I would hope so. There's a bar mitzvah.
there's a bar mitzvah. The showrunner's name is Jack Schaefer. I'm aware
Yeah.
I'm making assumptions here, but I think I'm right. Like you just want to know that they're showing reverence to the thing that they're using for their fictional world. So that
hmm
way they're showing it the respect that it deserves, as well as making sure that they're doing things in a somewhat correct manner.
Exactly.
So for when Agatha's coming out of the spell, the way that they did, because so
hmm
much of this show, and we'll talk about this the entire episode, if they could do it practically, they did.
Which I love. And because
Which
like that scene alone is really hard to do practical and they still did it.
it's so hard to do practically, but like everything that they did is so hard to do practically. But what makes it so real, so grounded, so believable, it works in their favor. It came out a lot cheaper because practical effects are still cheaper than special effects, no matter which way you slice it.
Yes.
It takes more time, but it is cheaper to do. But with the way they did that, they made sure they had certain outfits that were underneath one, so you could do it all in one go. As she takes the jacket off, and there's the blue sweater or the purple sweater from the end of
hmm
one division. Then under that is like the sweatsuit, and then the way they just do it's all done so smoothly. It's all done so beautifully, and it was always the plan for when she came out of it the very last time. The plan in the script was for her to come out of the spell naked because that makes sense. If she's been wearing other people's
Yeah.
clothing for so long, she comes out of it naked. And it was planned to be very artfully done the way the kind of what they show us initially in that first scene where it's kind of just like her hair is covering things and you see from far away, you're not seeing a whole lot. But originally, apparently, I found this out from there's a film festival that they did a screening and Captain Hahn got an award in Savannah the other day, and so they're doing a
Oh, it's
panel.
SCAD, right?
Yeah. And they were doing a panel afterwards. And so I don't know how it came up in conversation, but Jack Schaefer was saying that's how it was written, very artfully done. And it was all good with everybody. But then Catherine Hahn apparently said, because in the script it said, after that she grabs a robe and goes out and
hmm
talks to Herb. And apparently it was Catherine Hahn who went, would she stop to grab the robe? I don't think
No.
she doesn't care. I think she would just walk outside. So apparently there was a whole thing that they had to know they was dealing with, because now if we're doing basically full nudity at that point, they have to just there's a lot more stuff to do with legal and agents and walking Kevin Feige through the necessity of Catherine Hahn's ass in the MCU.
She is the first ass in the MCU.
She is the first female ass in the MCU.
True. Okay, that's fair.
She's the first ass on a Disney Plus original series. At least
Damn.
for MCU, because Thor is technically first. But
Thor is technically first. Damn it,
yeah, but
blonde-haired bastard.
it was the way that she phrased it. One of the producers went, "How do we get Han butt in the MCU?" Is the way that they phrased it, which I thought was. I just think that story is kind of hilarious, but it works so well into, especially how well Captain Han knows her character. Because I
hmm
100% agree that makes more sense. She wouldn't care if she's naked; she would just walk outside.
And it's like it's kind of a witchy thing at that point too. It's not just a Agatha thing
Mm-hmm.
because there is like traditions within witchcraft of not caring about nudity because it's
Mm-hmm.
a like a freedom thing almost, but
Yeah,
also, dancing naked under the moon is a thing.
yeah, no, it is.
Like so it makes sense to be more open with your body, not just as Agatha, but also as a witch, because
Yeah.
that's part of it, is being comfortable with who you are,
No, I would
down to
agree.
every bit.
Yeah. This is my most important question about the first couple episodes, but really about the show in general, because some people have their question about how she got the lemon towards the end of the series. That doesn't bother me. What I need to know is what happened and who's taking care of Senior Scratchy.
Yes, who has him?
Who has
Because
him?
I would see, like, Sharon would have happily done it, but Sharon sadly, died.
R.I.P. Mrs. Hart.
So sorry, or as many of us thought, Mr. Sharp for a moment.
Yeah.
I really did. I was like, Mr. Shart, and like
Yeah.
giggled, and then he immediately says Mrs. Hart, and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
oops. I would hope maybe Herb. I feel like Herb would be a good one for that.
I want Senior Scratchy just to have a good home. Luckily, there was a video of Catherine Hahn when they were filming with the rabbit, whose name is apparently Peanut Butter. Because I guess it was when he was done. Like they were doing a season wrap on Peanut Butter the rabbit, but it's just her holding him. It's going like, no, Peanut Butter, I love you, and then she gives him back to his owner, mother, handler, whatever the person's title is. But it's like Agatha is so sweet and gentle with him, but also Catherine Hahn is just an animal lover as well.
I love her.
Give her all of the bunnies. She deserves all of the bunnies.
Yes. Who needs awards when you can give Catherine Hahn just tons of bunnies?
Just tons of fluffy animals, really.
So I'm assuming, like, the first episode, I think we all really loved because it was like our beginning. We got to see that. So then we go into episode 2, Circle Stone with Fate, Unlock Thy Hidden Gate.
Yes.
Oh my God. This one's just fun for me.
Yeah. Well, because this one is where we gather our coven. We get all the new characters that we're going to be watching for the rest of the series, we assume. And
it's our character introduction.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good exposition, but it's also good that they did these 2 episodes as a 2-episode premiere, because I don't think either of them would have been particularly as satisfying on their own. Much like the 2-episode finale, I don't think either of them would be I just think, okay, I rephrase that. Episode 9 wouldn't be as satisfying to be released by itself.
No, I agree. We really needed, like, the first 2 and the last 2 needed to be together.
Yeah,
very much so. The rest of them can hold their own.
Oh yeah.
But with that, like, obviously she starts off from the beginning, actually being honest, like, the Witch's Road does not exist.
Completely.
Because she says, the Witch's Road, I want you to take me there. Please? The Witch's Road doesn't exist. You're lying. Am I?
Exactly.
And she tries to protect him from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
She knows who he is from the beginning. I fully believe that.
Okay, so she says she has inklings, and there I wrote down a couple places where, or at least I wrote down at least one place where it's clear that she has an inkling of who he is. I think it's from episode 3 or 4. It's from episode 4, because it's right before they summon Rio, and he says people can't be replaced, and she goes, "Can't they?"
Exactly. So, like, I feel like she knows pretty early on who he is. It's not. I don't think it's right away. It's got to be at least. She still protects him. It's got to be when the road's created.
Well, yeah, she definitely has. She definitely has even more of an inkling that, because here's my take on it is I think she bounces back and forth as to whether he could be Billy or Nikki until she hears him say Nicholas Scratch, because if he can say that name it's not behind the sigil, it has to be Billy.
Yeah. But regardless, she's like super protective of him, which I really, really love, because I know she makes the joke of like, I've eaten a child. I've bitten a child.
Babies are delicious.
I don't believe she's ever actually, done that. That's a very mom thing of like, I eat the baby's toes. Like I see it that way.
Yeah.
And even through WandaVision, she didn't do anything actively to harm the boys. She didn't.
She did strangle them with magic cords at one point, but like,
she wasn't gonna. They weren't. Just briefly, it wasn't in the sense of like the things that she's done to other people. The things that she has done to people is, really, really messed up, and she's kind of has a soft spot, I feel, especially for Billy, obviously.
One of my last notes was serial killers can still be mothers.
Exactly.
Like,
and then I just have Sisterhood of the Traveling Kegels.
Yes. I wrote down Sisterhood of the Traveling Kegels. Anybody? But then I also wrote down you get 2 suckers a day, and $20 later you're sitting on a bed that's also your wall.
Yeah, yep.
I don't know why that one is so funny.
Alice explaining the con.
Yeah.
She literally is like, no, it's not real.
Yeah. She knew.
She knew. But then, of course, once the road was created, though, it was very much like, okay, I'm doing this.
Yeah, well, because you can tell, like, there is, even though she doesn't know a whole lot about her own magic, as you can see, she's very surprised when she can blast Agatha with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she definitely, because she says when her mom died, she tried to forget everything she ever taught her. So, like, her mom did teach her actual witchcraft. She knows enough to know the original ballad.
That is true.
So, she knows enough magic to know the original ballad. But also we're done. We as a group historically do not do well in courtrooms.
No, not at all.
No.
Oof, that's a rough one.
It is a rough one. But this one also gave us, the version of the ballad that we heard at D23. This is the sacred chant version of the ballad that is supposed to conjure the witch's road, and also basically tells us how the entirety of the show is going to go.
Pretty much. But I mean, we also have when Agatha does a tiny fourth wall break with that, because she looks dead at the camera when Billy's coming down.
She does that she does that in the version in episode 9. We don't see that in the version episode 2. They cut away from her too quickly.
Did they? Because I thought I saw it.
No, we see it. We see her do the hand thing.
We rewatched this whole thing today.
No, we really did. No, but I looked.
Brain could be jumbled.
I looked for it this time. She does the thing with the sand, and then as he starts running down, it cuts to the back of her head. In episode 9, that's where
that's when it shows her look.
That's when we see her. It's focused on her face more or less the entire time.
I watched TV so much today. So much
TV
a lot.
In one day. But that was something that I looked for specifically.
Because it's so crazy too, because they're downstairs whenever it's created, so we don't see what Billy was actually doing in that moment.
Mm-hmm. He was just running away from the Salem 7 as far as we know.
Yeah. So we don't know like how it actually, like, we know it's him. We don't see him make it, so he doesn't even realize that he did it until the end.
Yeah, he doesn't know that he did it. And that was the thing of like everyone's justification, a lot of people's justification for Billy having created it was the door doesn't show up until he's running down the stairs. Like, no, the door shows up first.
Yeah, it shows up first.
Like, you're not wrong, but you need a better justification.
I do recommend everybody rewatch it though, because like after watching the finale, because you pick up like when you first watch, you just see a lot of like Agatha's mannerisms and facial expressions of like, oh, that's just Agatha. But when you know the truth and like how it actually is working out, when you watch it again, every single mannerism and facial expression makes complete sense.
Yep.
You're just like, oh my God. They all matter. All of them. This woman, seriously, can she teach a masterclass? Because she did such an amazing job.
Mm-hmm.
I only wrote one thing down through many miles of tricks and trials. I wrote one thing down. One thing only. And that was just Agatha bullshitting her way through the road is so much fun.
Yeah, she's really yes-anding her way through everything as they're asking questions. She's taking a moment to think and be pensive as she says her very bullshit answer because this is all brand new to her. I didn't notice, I heard this for the first time once they're in the house. I think it was Sharon that says, have you seen Huge Tiny Lies?
Oh yeah, I did. I realized that this time too.
I never heard that line before. I thought that was hilarious. Let's see, do I have any other lines? Oh, so not from this one, but I guess like who's going high when they're singing the ballad? Oh no, thank you, I don't take drugs. But then she immediately just downs half that bottle of wine.
Immediately. And then I love that moment too, though, because Jen immediately, well, I'm an alto. And I'm like, this sounds like a conversation Lauren and I have had.
She's like, well, I'm alto. And then at the end, the balls that you have to have. But to be fair, it's a character. She's getting paid to do it and it's all in good fun. But to have Jen say to Lilia, if you weren't so pitchy. And then she wasn't so pitchy, says the voice flatter than a pancake. Yet, did you hear you? Because the voice does not match the dress.
I love that moment. Oh my God. And also insulting Patti LuPone. That's gotta be
it's something.
You're getting paid to do it. You're getting paid to do it.
They're getting paid to do it. She's agreed to it. I think Catherine Hahn was like, yeah, I'm just glad I'm not the one that had to say that.
Oh, exactly.
Because like they said, like with the way that I think she said they did pre-record that, but they also sang it live because you get singing it live, it helps with the matching of things because like when you just mouth the words versus when you sing them, your neck does different things. So it looks more natural, obviously, if you're singing it. But I think also with the song, because it has so much intensity, like you kind of need to sing it out. So mostly what they did was when they did the close-ups, they did sing them by themselves. Like they did like single shots, but they were all there because they're all doing it at the same time. But apparently because of what Deborah Jo Rupp had to do with like the bouncing and the being excited. Like I think it was one of the interviews that she did with Sashir and Ali. She's like, well, some of us had support, and when I did my close-ups, everyone had to turn around. And she's like, because we kept breaking and we didn't want to ruin the takes. She's like, because you were so funny. Just like
she's so cute.
She's so cute because she caught to the chorus by the end of it. She figured it out.
It was actually really cute. Earlier today, my son, we're sitting down to eat dinner, and he's just going down, 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 down.
Aww.
And I just started singing it, and he's just like, I'm not singing that song, Mom. And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
I was like, okay, now that you haven't heard it a million times.
Yeah. But so this is what I think I always said one time, that Agatha and Jen are sometimes like the two of us.
Oh my God.
The line that I wrote down, because they really are, because it was when they were talking about the riddle that was the wine. It was Agatha goes, sounds like a witch. Jen, sounds like you.
That's like, us. That's very much.
That's us. So unfortunately, luckily neither of us have bound the other's powers. So I think we're good there. We're good there. But yeah.
But it takes us straight into 4, though.
Yes.
With the two of them arguing.
Yes.
About the song.
Burn and brew with Coven 2 and glory shall be thine. The ballad clearly says Coven true and glory shall be thine. No, it doesn't. It's Coven 2. That doesn't make any sense. It is if you're a student of the ballad.
And Agatha literally helped write the song with her son.
She literally did. And to be fair, it actually kind of is Coven 2.
Okay, that's Coven 2.
Kind of is Coven 2.
And once again, full circle when we get to the end, when it's Billy and Agatha.
Mm-hmm.
This episode had the hottest fucking outfits. Oh my God.
Best outfits. This one was we didn't say much about episode 3. That was the potions trial. That one had a lot to do with hallucinations and stuff like that. And that one was again a clear case of that one. The hallucinations were very personal because Billy can read their minds versus Agatha's, because people claim this is a plot hole, because if Agatha didn't actually sacrifice her son for the Darkhold, why is her hallucination the Darkhold in a cradle? It's because it's based on a rumor that he heard, because he had no way of accessing her actual memories. That's what that is. It's not a plot hole. It's still
emotional for her because that's what people believe of her.
Exactly. It's still very emotional for her, and it still has the desired effect, but not a plot hole. Just watch the show.
Without looking at your phone.
Yes. So back to episode 4.
Sorry. So Rio did not come through where they did the spell.
No, Rio just popped up out of the ground.
Isn't that where they buried Sharon?
I think so. Yeah, I think she came out of her grave.
I think she comes out of her grave.
Well, yeah, because when she pops out of the ground, I wrote down what everyone said was, Agatha, what did you do? What do you mean, what did I do? This was very clearly a group effort. Oh my God, did we turn Mrs. Hart into a zombie? What spell did we cast? Why is the print so small?
It's such, this is so good.
Everyone's got such good comedic timing with the way that they do things, and it's just so... It just they are a coven. Like, it works so well for the two of them, for the 5, 6, 7, however many people there are. There's a lot of people in this coven. But this is based off of Google Translate. I'm assuming this is as close accurate as we're getting. So the spell that they use to summon a new Green Witch is partially in Latin, partially in English. So I wrote it down. I think I heard the words correctly because Disney Plus did not have the actual subtitles for what she's saying in Latin. It just says chanting in Latin, but I think I got it right.
Do better.
I think I got it right. So it's Advocamus sororem viridem supra infra intra extra, which translates, according to Google, to let us bring the green sister above, below, inside, outside. And then they add their things in English of, may she be strong and wise and the best at her craft. May she be smart and not annoying, and also not super political. May she be pleasant. I love it so much.
Sorry, my brain went to something from earlier, and
I know exactly. May she be pleasant looking. Can she bring some Advil? Which is funny considering Rio's last name is Vidal, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
So it does work. And then it ends with, this is my favorite part, esse viridis non est facile. Being green is not easy.
Oh my God. You're kidding me.
That's what it says, according to Google. So blame Google Translate. But if I spell things correctly...
that sounds accurate, though.
But esse viridis non est facile, that does sound like being green is not easy, at least if I can conjugate with other languages that I know. That sounds about right. So they literally, they conjured Aubrey Plaza with the Muppets reference.
And she probably knows this and loves it,
I'm sure.
knowing
But this
her.
this is what I mean when I say it's the least serious spell ever.
Honestly, though, within witchcraft, that's common. Like,
Yeah.
there are
No, I
so
would.
many things you can do within witchcraft that is just the
Mhm.
dumbest shit. Because it's
I
all
believe
about
that.
intention.
Oh yeah.
Everything comes down to intention in magic.
Mhm.
So if you've got the like when they're doing the potion,
Yeah.
and she's like, God, when they're yet like I fucking love okay, Jen and Agatha really are. I love them so much.
Yeah.
Yelling back and forth of like, get your intentions, do that. And she's like, well, what do we want? She's like, to not die.
Yeah. After like all of like the potions and the ingredients that needed, so what they needed, and she was giving like the very like smart sounding names for things because she needed eye of newt, which is mustard seed, the gut of a
Mm-hmm.
eusocial insect, which is just honey. Frankincense was normal. Something that had been decomposing for 30 million years, i.e., petroleum
Petroleum.
products. Uh, like just a lot of very specific sounding names for things that are like,
Which is amazing.
but
Like I
like
said,
the
they definitely consulted somebody.
yes, and like because they were all more or less household ingredients. Although I did,
Most witchcraft supplies is.
yeah, and which I did still love the. Anyone have an idea how to set this sink to boil? You didn't think of that beforehand.
I mean, but of course, Billy knows there's a sous vide, and if he didn't, he created it.
But a sous vide, that's a very smart solution.
Very smart.
So,
I want one.
but episode 4, I mean,
I'm
it
not
has the
crying. You're crying.
it has the best. It has it. Honestly, hot take. I think I might like the cover version of Lorna's version of the ballad. I think I might like it better than the Sacred Chant version.
I think I do too, especially when you hear Lorna, like when in the scene, one of the scenes in Billy's room
Yeah, you can
of
hear the
Lorna
actual
actually
version. Yeah.
singing it. When you hear the actual version, is even better,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. Like it's so good. Have they gotten Stevie Nicks to cover the shit?
Not to my knowledge.
Stevie Nicks, can you please,
The
please,
pop
please, please,
the
pretty
pop
please?
version that they have that's on the album, and I think it's in the final credits of episode 9, is Japanese Breakfast. But
Ooh,
it's
okay,
it's the pop version of Lorna's version.
okay. I really need Stevie Nicks to cover this, please, 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 please.
Can we have Stevie Nicks and Catherine Hahn, please?
Oh my God, I'd die.
Well, that was something Catherine Hahn said because the people kept asking her what it's like to be singing with Patti LuPone and doing all this, and she's like, she's very generous with like the way that she performs. She very much is trying to blend with us because she knows that her voice is going to stand out regardless. But also, you better bring your A game because that woman cannot tell a lie. If you sound like shit,
She can't.
she will tell you. But this is one of my the funniest things ever because someone posted a video. I think it was Joe Locke posted a video of Patti singing. I want to say the bridge of the rock version. And there was not a consonant to be heard in that mouth. Like she complains that you can't always hear what people understand what people are saying in live theater, like when they're singing. I'm like, ma'am, your diction leaves much to be desired.
Just a little bit.
It's a tiny bit. Like I love her and she's fantastic, but she could stand to use a few more consonants.
But this is also the episode where we get these lovely shots of her playing with all these different instruments.
She has like 4 or 5 instruments. And there's the behind the scenes videos of her doing all like playing them all at once because they're bored on set between like setups and stuff. And it's just like she's just doing everything with she has the zill, she has a triangle, she has maracas and a tambourine, and she's holding all of them. And like you just have like Catherine Hahn just like slumped over, just like trying to like compose herself as she's doing this, and it's amazing.
I really loved that episode. Like that was the one my husband's sitting next to me and he's just like, so it's a musical. And I was like, what did you think?
Yeah. And that one very much I like that one because it is so much it's not the proof of concept, but that's what the show if it had more episodes, we'd see a lot more of episodes like that where it's
Yes.
chaos with an emotional center of Alice breaking her family's generational curse. And we'd have a little bit more of like that togetherness to kind of care about the characters if there was some like filler time, but this isn't I think there's enough story here. We could have had 2 more episodes.
I think so too, but I feel like they did keep it so tight and wrote it so well that it works how it is.
Yeah, it does.
But I would have liked a little bit more too, I think. But then we found out that the road's not as long as we expected it to be as well.
Yeah.
Which, once again, full circle.
Yep.
The road is a circle.
Everything comes full circle. But while they're playing the song again, Lilia, I think with the tambourine just going, "Oh, great, fire!"
It's so good. Like, why is it so good?
It's so good because you've got her going, "Oh, great fire," but then, like, during the bridge, you've got her rocking out with the maracas and just having a good old time with it after she was hit with the curse, and it's so good, but also the costumes in this episode specifically.
I am no better than a man.
They're beautiful, but they're also so well thought out. Like,
Every costume fits the person.
they fit so perfectly, and so, Rio's was specifically modeled after Cher, like, that was, like,
Mm-hmm.
modeled after a specific outfit. I'm going to assume it was intentional because at this point I assume nothing is by accident. When Rio shows up on the road, she's wearing fingerless gloves, and then when they go into that trial room, Agatha is wearing fingerless gloves.
Yes.
I would assume that was intentional, especially knowing that the design of both of them having very, very deep V-necks was again intentional because he wanted them to be on similar, like, I get the way he phrased it was like he wants them to be like on similar level with the emotional vulnerability, like their hearts are open, like they are exposed, they can't
Yeah.
hide, which works really great for the scene in the sound booth where as soon as Rio walks in, Agatha immediately tries to close her jacket.
Yep. And
So,
closes herself off from her.
mhm. It's just
I love sapphic media.
it all works so well. It's so heartbreaking, and then can we just take a moment to appreciate though the range that Aubrey Plaza gives Rio in that episode alone? Because
Oh, so much.
in the span of 5 minutes, we get, "Oh, you guys don't have extra nipples? I'm covered in nipples. You want to see them?" And then from there, 5 minutes later, she is my scar.
And then that boy's not your.
The boy's not
He's not your.
the boy is not yours. Like the range that she can give this character is fantastic to watch.
Well, right after the Green Witch.
Yes, the Green Witch. I love though that when they're doing the thing and they're walking towards the house, apparently Patti LuPone's line of "What a scary bitch" was that was ad libbed.
I could see that.
That
But
works.
then also the girls just like the women actively like simping over her.
Yeah, like do I want her number or like I was like they're like I don't know
What do I want?
what do I want here. It's so good, but also like I feel like especially with Rio and Lay, they get such little time together, the two of them. But knowing the relationship that bloomed of Aubrey Plaza and Patti LuPone to the point where
Oh my
Aubrey
God.
lived with her for a few months as she did a play in New York is just really, really funny.
It really shows you Patty's personality, and that woman, like, I feel like Aubrey's just gonna be Patti LuPone in the future.
Yeah, if you haven't watched the two of them do the Hot Ones, I'll put a link in the show notes. They did the Hot Ones versus.
Mm-hmm.
What even if you've seen clips, watch the whole
Oh,
15-minute video.
so good.
It's so funny because it's the two of them. They're so perfect together. But my favorite part of it is where like she says at one point she's like, "Birth me, put me inside of you, and like pull me out." And Pat's like, "Okay, but what will that do? It'll still be hot in your mouth."
I love the moment when Patti LuPone starts yelling about Madonna and Kim Kardashian.
Because the question was, it was like like you said this about Madonna that she's a movie killer. Apologize to the pop icon or eat a deathwing.
And
She stares the camera down and takes a bite out of this thing. She's just like, I
and
knew it.
oh, it was so good.
They're so funny together. They're so perfect together. But I've told you saw the interview where Patti LuPone almost killed Aubrey Plaza, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, IV Benadryl.
My guy's gonna come by.
Yeah. My special nurse is gonna come by and give you some vitamins and like, oh, you want the Patty special? Sure. And like okay. And then she's like, it's IV Benadryl. Like, if you're not used to that, it will knock you out.
It knocks you out.
And Patti LuPone's solution was to shove an English muffin with peanut butter in her mouth.
Imagine that while you're doped up on Benadryl.
Right? Well, it's like the way it's like, well, because she went to some event, and I think it was Seth Meyers, they were like, so what I have to do, what I'm going to is something called an alibi. I have to be seen by people so that I can't be held responsible for what happens. And then like everything that else that like Joe, am I gonna be okay? Like, yeah, you'll be fine. Like the guy's not concerned. It's just please, I'll also put that in the show notes. It's from Aubrey Plaza's Seth Meyers interview.
Mm-hmm. Most of our show notes is just going to be Patti LuPone and Aubrey.
Most likely, but it's really, really funny. Also, I'll see if I can find any videos that I mention for the show notes because like I know that I've saved a bunch of them. Where they are, I couldn't tell you.
You'll find them
eventually.
So then we go into episode 5, which is one of my personal favorites because I love horror.
Yeah.
And this one very much feeds on like the 80s horror vibe, which I really, really enjoyed. But then this one we get so much. Like I love, of course, Rio laughing when death is mentioned on the Ouija board.
Rio laughing this the entire episode though with the brooms.
Yes, her cackling.
That's another part where it's like the direction was just like, have fun.
Yeah, just have fun with that. But I did, of course, everyone loves the line when people ask me why I don't have female friends, because everyone's like, punish Agatha.
Yeah. Plus, we don't have more female friends. We have to Ouija. That's not a verb.
Death-hating ghosts. I was like, just...
That makes sense, though.
It does, because they don't pass. She can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And so they just annoy her.
Because they're held here by their own unfinished business or whatever it is that's keeping them, like something's keeping them tethered to this realm, and she can't collect their souls. That makes perfect sense.
And in spite, Agatha ends up a ghost.
Yeah. But it's
also due to Nikki, but still.
Yeah. But I noticed in the Ouija scene, the first time when Agatha pretends to be Mr. Shart, when she starts it, what she says is Mother Maiden Crone, which ensures...
That's why I messed up earlier. I was thinking about that.
Yeah, it ensures that it doesn't work the first time. The second time, she says Maiden Mother Crone, and that's when her mother gets conjured. Which, her as the possession zombie is just... It gives me my two of my favorite lines of this episode is Rio, sweetheart, you okay?
You okay?
And then, whoa, where's she going? What's she doing? Like, she's watching like a cat have the zoomies, basically.
I love it. You just wanted to stab her, and now you're defending her.
Yeah, her mother can't have her. I wrote down, Rio hates a lot of people, but she hates Evanora Harkness more.
She tried to kill her own daughter.
Exactly. So, but all of their responses to the brooms are perfect when they start.
Yes.
Because they're all of them are going, no, and Rio's like, yes, chaos answer, yes, we're gonna do this.
We're gonna do this.
And then so they all they do them, and it's him trying to catch up, and Agatha just... I love how well that's shot of some of that is obviously CGI with them getting on the brooms and everything. And Lilia's line of after he's going like, oh god, oh god, oh god, she's like, try praying to the divine mother, kiddo.
Did you notice though Rio and Agatha's brooms that they swap?
I noticed that the one that she makes for Rio has like leaves
greenery
on it. Yeah.
And then the other one is very simplistic.
Okay.
Which is Agatha.
Yeah.
Very simplistic and straight to the point. So I love that they are the ones to swap, because you can see they definitely fit each of them to the other's personality.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's just the cutest thing, even though they try to kill each other in the end. Not that you can kill death, but I thought that was really cute. And of course, then just Jen and Lily.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so cute. You could have done better.
You could have done better. But I found a video on Instagram that was behind the scenes of filming the rig for when they have to turn upside down. Because again, it's all practical. They put them in basically a circular rig with they were on blue screen for most of that, like with all that filming. And I can imagine that just filming like the regular flying had to have been fun.
Yeah.
But especially the rig is basically a circular rig. They're strapped in as many places as they possibly can be. And it's just two guys just grabbing basically the ladder looking things, turning it upside down. And the videos
right.
The videos of Allie doing it. And she just looks like she's having so much fun.
And then we end it with the reveal.
Yes,
that
the reveal.
He is Billy. He is Wiccan. And so many people were loving it, but then people were mad.
Why were people mad?
It was too obvious, the way they did it or something like that. It was really weird. I saw opposite things a little bit. Some people being like, oh, this, why did they do it like this? Tons of people, thankfully, were really excited. The crown, of course, the song choice first. The song choice was perfect, but the crown was just a good mixture of Wanda and what that was. The color is perfect. They actually did really good on comic book accuracy with this, because him controlling Jen and Lilia is kind of one of those, he can definitely, of course, hear thoughts, and the controlling thing was a big thing that he's able to do. It's not just the simple magic that he can do, it's really that. And I really love that. But we've seen a lot of mixed opinions when it comes to this show. So every now and then you'll be like, oh, these people really love this part, and then you'll see some people are like, this sucks, and you're just kind of like, are we watching the same thing?
Hey, opinions are subjective. People can have whatever opinions they want.
That is true. Sometimes they're wrong still. But then we go into, of course, Familiar by Thy Side, episode 6, which I'm really interested because I know you have some opinions
Yeah.
on this episode.
I do have one more note from episode 5 I want to say
Oh,
before I
my
get into
bad.
episode 6. No, it's okay. It's a very quick thing because it's when she says, like, before he throws her in the mud and
Yeah.
she says, "Come, pet." I just wrote, "Do I need Catherine Hahn to call me pet? Is something wrong with me?"
Nothing's wrong with you, but it is a need.
It's a need. So sorry. I just wanted to get that out there. I wrote it.
No, that's my bad.
No, it's okay. There are times. No, it's fine. Yeah, episode 6. So this is the backstory. Was this the Familiar by Our Side? Was this one? Because yeah, you have
Yes, familiar by thy side.
yeah, you have the episode titles written down. Yeah, this is a case where you definitely you're more organized than I was because like there's so much brain dump situation happening in mine, and then I kind of went back in and did more notes afterwards.
Yeah.
I feel like the last 2 episodes I have more organized notes. We'll see when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, so it's our backstory for William Kaplan, who is the person who Billy takes over, reincarnates into. And William Kaplan is Jewish, and I'm assuming he's Jewish in the comics. I would assume it doesn't feel like something they would randomly add, in my opinion. But
okay, so there is the talk of like, okay, so within some of the comics, because of course there are different editions of everything, Wanda is Romani.
Right. Okay, we had this conversation.
Which would of course make her children Romani. Yeah. Because in some comics, her father is Magneto.
Yeah.
So I would say Jewish since Magneto is a Holocaust survivor.
Yeah.
So I'm happy they did it this way, making William Jewish, because they haven't really honored that part of the character for Scarlet Witch or Wanda in the MCU. And I'm curious if that's because of Sony, because that's the mutant side of things. That's usually X-Men. They're just now really trying to blend those together, and I don't think they fully did that when they couldn't really do that when they started with Wanda all the way back in Ultron. And so this is all speculation. I have no idea if this is like exactly why it's like this, but you've got to remember that when it comes to X-Men and Spider-Man, those are more towards like a different. Someone else is making those, not the MCU.
Yeah.
So they're kind of starting to combine the two now, because we're starting to like the new Fantastic Four is coming. They just did like Deadpool and Wolverine had a lot of MCU like X-Men stuff combined in with it. So they're starting to kind of like pull things together. But I think because they didn't start Wanda as Romani with the mutant story, they're not going completely that route. So I really like that they actually did make Billy Jewish or William. I don't. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, because William Kaplan is Jewish, because it opens up on his bar mitzvah, which is the day that the hex closes. And I saw a lot of discourse online about Joe Locke playing William Kaplan, and specifically like the bar mitzvah scene, because Joe Locke is not Jewish, as far as I know. And a lot of people are talking about like the importance of having, Jewish actors playing these characters, doing these things. And a lot of people seem to have an issue with him holding a Torah specifically. And this is my stance on non-Jewish actors playing Jewish roles. When it comes to minority groups and how they're portrayed in media, if it's easy or just as accessible for the minority group to play the majority group, I kind of don't care. And this is a case of Jews playing non-Jews all the time.
Yeah.
Like, there are many, many very famous actors that people don't realize are Jewish. They just don't, because...
Oh, yeah. There's so many.
So the fact that Joe Locke, being not Jewish, playing a Jewish character does not bother me. The argument of, like, he shouldn't be holding a Torah, it's probably a prop.
Like, yeah, that wouldn't be an actual Torah.
There's no way in hell that was an actual Torah. Like, I'm just assuming. But I'm pretty
sure. And from the little bit that I know, he did a really great job.
No, he did. Like, the way...
with everything.
The way that bar mitzvah scene goes, the very beginning, it starts with him taking the Torah out, having him walk around the sanctuary as people are blessing it and kissing it, with their talits and with their with their book, with the sidors. And like, I think someone pointed out, he does start in the middle of a verse for the Torah portion, which is odd, but they had him... that part is what it is. But the joke that I made to myself was the trope for the prayer, what my family would colloquially call the tune, was the same tune that I would know. So I was like, that's the same one that I would use. And I also saw a lot of people going about the thing about how there can be like palm readers and stuff like that at a bar mitzvah, and like, Judaism doesn't not that they don't care, but a lot of that stuff is rooted in Judaism if you go back far enough, because a lot of it comes from the
Yes.
Kabbalah. So there's that. A lot of it is rooted in Judaism, but also Judaism does not demonize that quite like
Mm-mm.
Christianity does. And
Yeah, it's
also,
a little different for y'all.
and it's also a kid's bar mitzvah in, I'm going to assume, southern New Jersey.
It's a magic theme too,
They called it, it was like the magic mitzvah is what it was on the program. So that
which is
part,
adorable.
it's great. It's great theming. I think it seemed like a really fun bar mitzvah. And I don't have a critique of this personally. It's
Okay.
I personally I don't have a, as opposed to how Bob's Burgers has did with the Mazeltina episode. I don't really have any critique of the bar mitzvah at all, quite frankly. I even loved that there was the centerpieces were trees of were like this was a tree of life motif that we see throughout the entire show.
Mm-hmm. Which is the theme.
Yeah. Everything is it's the it's the circle of life. It's the it's the
Yep.
growth and decay at the same time.
The
So it's
circle
so we see that throughout the show.
of life. Your face, it was perfect.
I know. So we see that theme throughout the entirety of the show, especially when it comes to Billy, William, whichever version of him he is.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's my thing on the Judaism aspect of it. The reincarnation is fine. I like the fact that Lilia cast the sigil on him. I think that makes perfect sense once she explains it in the next episode.
Mm-hmm. Enjoy the now, baby. It's the only thing that's certain.
Exactly. And
Oh,
this is an
Lilia.
episode. She was so good. This is the episode that I said earlier that I cut out a chunk of, which people can be mad at or not.
I skipped some of the scenes on the rewatch of this one. Like, no offense, but most of the bar mitzvah, I was like, okay, I can skip to Lilia.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Lilia, skipped to like kind of the car crash ish, but I didn't really watch like his interaction with his family.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of skipped forward to like when things were really going on. Because not like it's backstory. I don't want to say nothing's really going on. It's just it's backstory that you need.
It's a long episode. It's on par lengthwise with our premiere and our finale.
It just seems like it moves really slow.
It does. And so this one, I watch until he wakes. I watch until we see Alice, because in the flashback, Alice is the cop that finds him at the car crash.
Mm-hmm.
I watch until then, and then I skip until after the parking garage scene. So I skip until we get to the point where Billy is like doing his Google searching, looking for information on Agatha. So
yeah, that's about where I started back up.
I cut out a good 15 minutes of that episode.
This episode
rewatches.
had my favorite ad lib though.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Joe Locke yelling out, "Come on, I do not want to go back in the closet."
Yeah.
That is amazing.
It's so good. I love people doing the comparison of the interrogation scene as it's actually happening versus how it was happening in Agatha's brain. But I love so much you want to keep poking the bear? No, I don't. You don't want to poke the bear? No, I do not want to poke the bear.
I sent you a link of someone selling those shirts.
I know, I saw.
About poking the bear.
Maybe I do want to poke the bear though.
If it's Catherine Hahn, I do.
Yeah, exactly. Very respectfully.
God, of course, with permission.
We've established we have problems. It's fine.
This is what you get. It's a sapphic podcast, okay?
Yeah.
You can't give us such a beautiful sapphic show with witches.
Yeah.
And Aubrey Plaza as death and not have us gushing over them the entire time.
I'm wearing my Rio necklace. I got one of the Rock Love necklaces that's shaped like Rio's dagger.
I've been wearing this all night, but my boner family reunion shirt, pitch a tent, because I have the brain of a 12-year-old boy.
I'm saying this now at Disney. If you do not sell official boner family reunion shirts, you are cowards.
I agree. Like, give me more of this. I had to special order this off Etsy because I needed this so much in my life.
I have my hat with the line from the next episode. It should be here, I think, actually tomorrow. If you want straight answers, ask a straight lady.
I loved the end of this one because by this point we still haven't figured out that Billy has created the road.
Yeah.
And just Agatha yelling, "Gosh, you really are a Maximoff. Otherwise, none of this would be nearly as dramatic."
Yeah.
Knowing what that means now in the rewatch. Like the rewatch is really where you get so much more information, and you just sit there kind of the whole time like,
yeah,
oh shit. Like the whole time. Oh, are we ready to talk about episode 7?
I think we
Are we
can be,
ready?
yeah. I think we're ready.
Are we? Are you sure?
I think so.
Because I cried again.
I also cry in this one.
Okay, I cry in this one. This episode is a fucking work of art.
Mm-hmm. Want to give us
One
the
of the
title?
best. Oh yeah, that one is Death's Hand in Mine.
Yeah.
Ah. And of course, the first line I wrote down is the one you just said.
If you want straight answers, ask a straight lady.
And
Which, to
then
be fair,
really,
her thing of saying when he asks her, did anyone else see the body? And she goes, it's hard to say. That's accurate because it's hard to tell if Rio is actually there or not.
It's really hard to say. Like, and then with the body too, the red hair doesn't pop up until she says hair of scarlet.
Yeah.
So it's really up in the air on that one.
Uh-huh.
I really love when Billy says, "Now I wonder if you've ever been on the road at all."
Because he doesn't know it's fake.
He has no idea. One of the best lines though. We are not cool, teenager.
Damn, using his full name.
Yes. Like, it was so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have focus up Calderoo. We can be culturally offended later. Proper tarot takes time and care and leads to large gaping wounds.
But the cards, the accuracy with the cards,
mm-hmm.
Agatha not seeing how serious it actually is, because I will say within witchcraft, so many people see tarot as, some really see it is for what it is, insight, introspection, and yes, somewhat telling your future. But more than anything, it's to really take a good look at yourself, which is what Lilia has to do. Do introspection to figure out her path, because all your answers are within yourself.
Yeah.
And just Agatha completely taking it unserious because she's like, this is a scam anyways. It's just like, we just got to figure out the right cards.
It's like, I don't know how much math you did in Salem, but that will take forever.
I mean, I don't think women were allowed to do math in Salem, but so it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. I wrote down, I liked, because throughout the entire series, Lilia has been saying the names of these cards that will come up, and she's both divining the tarot spread using her power, but she's also just seeing the patterns and the symbols. Like,
exactly.
she's not having a vision when she says it. She sees the image that is the Three of Pentacles. She sees the image that is the Three of Swords behind Agatha.
Like, when she sees Jen for the first time, she says High Priestess.
Yeah, like I caught that at first. I'm like, oh, she looks like a High Priestess card. That's what that means. And I wrote down for her, I also have all of her premonitions, because as we see in this episode, so much this episode is told out of order, because we're time
is an illusion.
Time, because the flow of time is an illusion, and we're mostly seeing it through Lilia's, like, how she's experiencing it. She's out of order, but we're getting the pieces with her at the same time. And so I did write down her premonitions from the rest of it, but for her tarot decks, her tarot spread specifically, she's the Travel, she's the Queen of Cups, and wrote, yes, you're mentioned, Leah, but how about we put a card down? What she's missing was the Three of Pentacles, which is her coven, which the picture has both Teen, Billy, and Rio.
Yes.
So that's important.
Very important.
The path behind was the Knight of Wands. That was Alice, both full of fire, but also symbolizing that Alice was not going to be coming back to life. She's the path behind. Path ahead being the High Priestess, unwilling or unable to use her power, signifying that Jen will get her power back and make it out of the road alive, and she's now the only person who thinks the road is real.
And she does it for herself.
Yes, exactly. She does it. She unbinds herself, which is very important. The obstacle is the Three of Swords, which is grief. That's Agatha has known a lot of grief in her life. A lot of grief.
A lot.
The Windfall being the Tower Reversed, which is miraculous transformation, which definitely sums up Billy. And the destination being death. All roads lead to Rio. The death card, important to note, does not always symbolize actual death. It is the end of a journey and the start of a new one. In this case, it means their journey ends at the feet of Lady Death.
And with that too, I really like the insight it showed to Lilia. Her timeline,
it's a loop.
Is a loop. So yes, she dies, but everyone dies. This was another, like, the entire show is, like you said, the circle of life. Circles are very important in witchcraft. You cast a circle, you do so many things with witchcraft itself, but the cycle of life and death is a circle.
It is.
We decay, we grow. That's what death is. That's why I'm the Green Witch. And I just, like I said, they did such a fucking great job at this.
And this episode shows it specifically, because with the premonitions as we saw them, In episode 2, we see Lilia just screaming, which is from the ghost scene in episode 5 when she yells, I hated this the first time. And then episode 2 again, she yells, get off me, which is episode 7 when Agatha is on top of her after, did you not see imminent impalement in your future? Which also, we see another loop of that in when she's talking to Jen, but that's to say it's the same loop.
Yeah.
Episode 4 is when she starts saying, we really all kind of hated each other at the beginning, but now finished in the episode previously. I love you guys. Episode 4 again, which is it? Am I wispy or am I kooky? Which I like that with that case, they used 2 different takes. They used, I think that plays, because they did that for a couple of these. It plays with perception, because when she's remembering what she said, you can almost, it's almost like in that case, you're seeing how she perceived that she said it versus the first time we're seeing how it actually came across. So like the first time she said it is more like am I wispy or am I kooky? Kind of like more like sassy kind of one. But like when she's remembering it, it almost feels angry because she's angry at Jen for saying that. But that's in response to Jen calling her wispy and kooky in episode 7. And then episode 4, she says again, Alice, don't. Finish in episode 2, try to save Agatha, which is something she either said or wanted to say in episode 5 when Alice saved Agatha and lost her magic and her life force in the same space.
Yeah.
And then lastly, when she calls you a coward, hit the deck for which is a premonition for Agatha in episode 8, which we all saw that coming.
We all saw it coming.
Yeah.
Oh, episode 8. Whew.
But yeah, so this one also was the end of the Salem 7, which this is something to everyone that kept saying only 5 of them died. There are 7 bodies that hit the swords. If you watch closely enough, you just don't hear 7 stabs. All of them
actively see Lilia get stabbed either, which I'm okay with.
Yeah, we didn't need to see that, but all 7 of the Salem 7 die.
There were a lot of people that were upset that they're like, oh, so the Salem 7's not even that dangerous anymore. There's no stakes. And I'm like, the stakes is Agatha and Billy have to pretty much go up against death itself.
Yeah, like, the stakes have always been death. It's just a matter, it's more a case of like, the stakes have always been death, but it's a matter of who the vendor is.
Because like at the beginning, Rio says, I can't kill you. Death cannot kill Agatha.
Yeah,
she's just there to pick up the body.
Exactly.
She is the soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's there to ferry the soul. She can't physically kill anyone. Death is a part of life.
But it's Agatha's time.
Death doesn't kill you. Death just takes you. That's the difference.
But it is her time. Because that's the only reason Rio is there. She shows up because she's there to do her job.
Yep.
It is Agatha's time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Agatha has to be the one to make that decision.
Yep. And it's still sad.
Oh, God. I cried so much again through this. Like, between just the last 3 episodes. And I actually had to, like, skip a little of 9 just so I could finish and cook dinner. Because it does take a long while to get through this.
Yeah.
But no, 7 was just chef's kiss. I cried all over again. No notes, just phenomenal work and writing.
So good. And I love that we see Lilia and Jen's relationship throughout that episode and how it changes because Lilia's popping in and out of the timeline. And Jen is very patient. I love the part of like when Lilia says to her, like, when you look at me, you see a doddering old broad. Like I'm not losing it. And she goes, so tell me what I should see when I look at you. She's like, if you want me to see you differently, what should I see? What's happening? And it's like, cause like if there's an explanation, I want to know it. Like she's having that moment, that heart to heart with her. Even though she had a chance to get off the road, but she stayed on because she trusted Lilia. And it's
and then she immediately loses her.
Yeah. Oh, cause I loved being a witch. Cause it's that line, but it's the combination of like, I'm not going ahead of you. You're the path ahead, Jennifer. I loved being a witch.
She is.
Because she is. She's the path ahead. She's the one destined to get out of this alive with what she wants.
Which is a whole thing because when we get into the next episode, 8, Follow Me, My Friend, to Glory at the end.
Yeah.
She unbinds herself, which is very, very important.
Yes.
Because I know a lot of people got upset about the racial system within this.
Yeah.
Agatha bound her when a man paid her money to.
Exactly.
In the 1920s.
And she didn't know who it was she was binding.
She didn't know, still feeding into the patriarchy of the 1920s, but still. Yeah. But for Jen, this is a white woman who has bound her because a man has asked her to, regardless if she knew who she was binding. So it is a very cultural, like racial importance to unbind herself from that.
Yeah.
But with that moment, we also see that everybody who has gained what they have within this, other than Billy did have Agatha to like lead him. They
Mm-hmm.
did it for themselves.
Yeah.
Allie released herself from, not Allie, Alice. Allie's the actress.
Yeah.
Alice released herself from the curse. Lilia found her way through
Mm-hmm.
her timeline. And then, Jen unbound herself.
Yeah. Because it very, I think it was episode 3 where Agatha had the very Wizard of Ozzy kind of speech of like,
Mm-hmm.
you want to unbind, you want to reverse your fortune, you want to know what happened to mommy, and then she tries to say something to Mrs. Hart and she's gone. But she's like, hey, take your eyes off her for 2 seconds. But like I mean, there are a lot of Wizard of Oz type moments in this episode, in this show, because there's that one when Lilia is giving them, like, she's giving, I would say, courage, brains, and heart to each of them before they leave the trial room as well. Because she says, when she calls you a coward, hit the deck, she gives him his magic book back, and she's like, she gives her the heart of, you're the path ahead, please go.
Yes.
There's a lot of that imagery, and it's very important. And it's important, as you said, for Jen to be the one to unbind herself, but also it's very important for horror movie tropes. The black woman got out alive.
She did. She was the sole survivor. Like, I say sole survivor because, yes, Billy survived, but he created it.
Yeah, he doesn't really count.
He doesn't really count. The black woman survived this one. Because that's what, I mean, I look for it in every horror movie I watch. How long until the black person dies? Because it is a trope that needs to be used. Like, it just shouldn't be used at all.
Oh, yeah.
I say used less. I just say I'm still catching up on a lot of the horror movies I haven't been able to watch in my lifetime yet. And it's used way too much.
No, I'm with you.
So the line of, no one in history has had special treatment like you. You call what you did special treatment. You gave me nothing. You took. There's a lot of debate because I feel like 8 and 9 kind of had to be talked about together.
Yeah, I would agree.
Which 9 is Maiden Mother Crone, where we've seen the maiden. She was young. She killed her. She started killing covens accidentally. She didn't mean to kill her first coven.
Yeah,
it happened. I don't think she could originally control that power. Then we go into seeing her as a mother, and of course, a lot of the big debate I keep seeing is we're pretty sure Death is Nikki's mother, other parent.
We're pretty sure, yeah.
We're pretty sure.
It's all speculation because we know the writers thought about it. They've talked about that in other interviews, but they're at a place where they can't really confirm anything because I get the sense Disney won't let them.
And and we could be completely wrong, but like the casting alone makes you think otherwise because this kid looks like a combination of Catherine Hahn and Aubrey Plaza.
He does.
He really, really does. But the debate is when she's killing all these witches, taking all their power, is she saving herself from death or Nikki? Because it's very possible she could have died in childbirth. And so constantly feeding death is keeping her alive even after Nikki is taken.
Yeah, that's an interesting take with it because what Rio says in the very beginning, that she hid behind all that power of the Darkhold, that's what's kept her immortal the last few years, basically. Because
now that she's out from under the hex,
Rio can come take her because she's giving her bodies, throughout the centuries. And like there's something to be said about the fact that, and it also works into the whole con artist aspect of it, because in the very first time we see her with Nikki stealing the lives of witches, like he's crying, and then as they walk away, she goes, "Oh, you like that, huh?" kind of thing. So it almost feels like he's almost feeding off the energy a little bit, which if he's the child of death, that would make sense.
It would make sense. I don't think that's been confirmed or denied.
That has not. This part is all speculation, but
yes,
that's a good question though. Yeah, is she saving herself or Nikki? I hadn't thought about that, but that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, because she's, even once Nikki is sadly gone, which of course is like the one night that they don't con any witches,
she takes Nikki.
And because she said, "All I can give you is time."
Well, yeah, because that's the thing is Agatha never says if you take him or you take them. She never says that about the kids. She says, "If you do this, I will hate you forever." And she says, "All I can offer you is time." And she gives her plenty of time as herself. But yeah, that's a good question.
Because like, I know she takes Nikki. Obviously, we all see she takes Nikki, but Nikki wasn't supposed to survive either. Was she just giving Agatha more time to heal before passing as well?
Maybe.
Like it could have been so, or giving her more time because she loves her and she wants to have her for longer
Mhm.
herself, even though the detriment of doing her job.
Yeah.
So I find it really interesting and I'm hoping we eventually get more answers to that. But I wanted to point that out because the first line of the special treatment kind of goes hand in hand with 9, not 8, which
Mhm.
9 is, the extended
Post-credit
post
scene.
credit scene. I wanted to talk to you a little bit of like, I love the line of don't steal her struggle.
Yeah.
But with the last trial, so we've seen everybody go through this. They don't have their green witch anymore, but every single one of them have what is needed to work together to pass the trial.
Mhm.
There's dirt inside his book.
Yep.
She has the seed, and then you can see that
There's
she is
something.
dumping it, that
Yeah.
Jen's dumping out what looks to be a liquid.
Mhm.
They had everything they needed to do it, but then, of course, once Jen finds out Agatha bound her and gets out of there, which
Yeah.
she does repeat, you hold nothing 12 times. 3 is a very powerful number within witchcraft. A lot of people will maybe only go up to about 9, but 12 is going to
Mhm.
be much more powerful than that.
Yeah.
I actually watched it and let thought for a second. And I rewound it, like went back and counted how many times she said it to see if she actually did it that many times.
I knew the number had to be significant, but it didn't occur to me to count them.
Yes. So it's 12 times.
Yep.
That she repeats it. The power of 3 is very, very, and I'm not like reciting charm to you. Like that really is a thing within
Yeah.
witchcraft. Like
Mhm.
3 is a very powerful number, which also feeds into maiden, mother, crone. Your life is in
Yep.
3 cycles.
Mhm.
So it's very like seriously, when I tell you that I am so impressed with the witchcraft in this, I am
Mhm. Yeah. I saw so much of
ugh.
people arguing about in Rio and Agatha's confrontation still on the road, that, that she almost revealed that the road was fake in the argument when she says, that, you're walking with another woman's son on a road that doesn't, and then she gets cut off. And like people are talking about like how could they do this? I'm like, honey, she literally broke the fourth wall when she slashed through the scenery. She didn't almost reveal the road was fake. She did reveal it was fake.
It's almost like when there's not enough serious dialogue going on, people aren't even looking at the screen.
Exactly. Like they're just because it's also very important that that's the one time that when Rio walks away, she doesn't say Te veo.
She
Because
does not.
Teveo literally means I see you, which is an interesting way to go that, but colloquially it means see you later. And it's the one time she just walks away silently because she knows the next time she sees her is going to be at the end of this situation when the pact will get,
Yeah,
dealt with.
which is hard for her. She does love Agatha, but
She
she has a job
does.
to do.
She says like I have a heart. It's black and it beats for you. Like are they a healthy relationship? Maybe not. Like
I
I
wouldn't
think
say so.
it's not particularly healthy, and it's something that when Billy tries to banish her as the ghost, he says time to go toward the light or into Rio's toxic embrace, like
Mhm.
whichever it is. But like they're not particularly good for each other. I wouldn't say it's a healthy relationship, but they might be the only two beings who could understand each other the way that they do.
Especially if Nikki is their child.
Exactly. So I get the relationship, and this was something that I kept thinking about, and this is now we'll go into the stuff that I brain dumped the other night.
Okay.
Because most of the brain dump was about the finale. So that's like, this is where I have like long
Same.
paragraphs.
I've got other things too. Like I'm like, oh my God.
So I keep thinking about the line from Lorna's version of the ballad. It's not in the show. It's in the full version of the song, though. It's from the very last verse. And dance with death, my love cannot be turned. I keep thinking about that line a lot because it's like her love for Rio never went away. She may have that hatred and it does kind of block it, kind of like what Alice said that when her mom died, she's got really angry.
Yeah.
And despite what Lily said, sad is better than angry, Rio's or Agatha is very much like, I'm gonna be angry here. Like even after what happened with Nikki, even if she can't show it through her anger, it's like a stubbornness. Her love cannot be turned, both because her love never went away, but because her determination to never show that love cannot be turned because of her upset and anger. And Rio is constantly fighting that. Like her yelling, "Why don't you want me?" Like solidifies her determination. It's just that line just sticks with me so much, especially through that last confrontation, because it's still Rio almost like begging to be loved again.
Yeah.
Like
Because
she's like
who can love death?
exactly like who better to love death than someone who's killed so many?
But at the end of the day, because so many people hate death death as it is because the living don't like when people die.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense. So that was something that really stuck with me. But I love that final confrontation between the two of them when Agatha gets her power back. Because it does also beg the question: When did she learn to control her ability to take in someone's power?
Yeah,
It
with
does
that
beg
too,
the
but
question.
before she gets her power back, though, she uses everything that she learned from the Coven against
Mm-hmm.
death. She
Yep, she
uses
uses.
everything.
Yep, she's got the premonition from Lilia. She's got the healing. She's got the protection circle.
Hmm. She does it all. And
Yeah.
then still, he has to help.
Mm-hmm.
And it scared the crap out of me. He's like, don't take it on. I'm like, they're not going to kill Wiccan
No, they're
immediately.
not going to.
They can't. But I feel like she really does care so much about Billy
Mm-hmm.
because Nikki's gone. She knows Nikki's gone. She sees
Yeah.
so much of him in Billy that she's like, I want to stick around for this kid. I want to, because that's what she is in the comic. She really is a ghost half the time that teaches Billy and Wanda how to do what the fuck they're supposed to be doing. Like, that's literally what she does. So this, people being upset that she died, I'm like, we were told from the beginning.
Yep.
It was her time.
Mm-hmm.
I have a small complaint, though, that's been getting on my nerves.
Okay.
I've been seeing, specifically today, people complain online about how he got his costume so quickly. I'm not kidding. I saw this today.
Did he
multiple posts.
Did he not just conjure it with his mind?
That's my thing. Did people not see the end of WandaVision where she completely changes everything she's wearing and creates her costume, I guess is the best word for it, at the end?
Yeah.
With magic?
He just makes it with his mind. That didn't people don't assume that?
Mm-mm. We are watching a show of actual witches and people are like, well, where'd he get his costume?
Do people really need everything spoon-fed to them?
I'm seeing it as that because then also people
This is not the show for that.
No, people saying that the ballad being a con ruins the story.
They literally tell you in the very beginning it's a con. Alice says, we said earlier, Alice says it in episode 2.
It's a con.
Immediately, Agatha says it's not real.
Like, I know we believe it's real because we see Billy create it, but we're put in the place of people like Jen and Lilia and Alice because they all believe that it doesn't exist, that it's too, like, it's not actually dangerous. A thing.
Yeah.
And it's not, but Billy creates it. But it makes me think back to, like, a lot of people think magic is pointless, witchcraft, like modern witchcraft, what we do here as people, not in television. Mm-hmm. They see, no, it's a scam, it's dumb, it's all this. When in reality, it's magic is not a fix-all, it's a way of life.
Mm-hmm.
It's a practice. It's something that you have to believe in.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work the way that people expect it to.
And that makes a lot of sense with Agatha's, what she says in WandaVision, that she steals power from the undeserving, because any witch that comes to her looking for access to the road to get greater power, what she says is, oh, you're looking for a shortcut. She views that as undeserving because you don't want to make this your way of life. You just want a shortcut to power. And that's how she justifies everything that she does, which, to be fair, we don't condone being a serial killer, but like, she's not wrong.
Yeah. And then of course the lines that really make you think even more too is she tells Nikki, I cannot heal you, I cannot protect you from what's coming, and I cannot divine when she will return. Is also Jen, Lilia, and Alice.
Yep, potions, protection, and divination.
So some people are thinking, another theory that I've seen is that she's collected the coven not only like for those powers, to have that insight of how to get Nikki back.
Possibly.
Like, I've seen so many different theories, and some of them are actually interesting and they make a little bit of sense. The other one I said makes way more sense of like her trying to get away from death, because she is.
Yeah.
But I mean, just use your purple.
Use your purple. Yeah, she calls it her purple because that's what he called it. And like we said before, serial killers can be mothers. It's
is that the title?
It's such a title. No, that's the title. Did you know serial killers can be mothers? That's gonna be the title of the episode.
That is so the title.
But like, because here's the thing: is I'm all for a nuanced answer. You know me, I love a nuanced answer. But sometimes the answer is she can just be a bad person. Like,
she's not a good person. She's not an anti-hero.
She's not. Like, she is a villain through and through. She is a serial killer. They tell us this over and over and over again. And a lot of like the killing the witches and conning them, it is addict behavior, kind of like what I say with Rumpelstiltskin on Once Upon a Time. It's addict behavior. But at least she's honest. She's a terrible person. She doesn't want to try to be any better. And I see a lot of people trying to moralize things that she does, I think, to make themselves feel better about liking her as a character. And this is my thing of, for anyone listening, if you made it this far in the episode, because it's long, you can like characters who aren't good people, and it doesn't make you a bad person.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, I see, like, with the exceptions of how Agatha handles Teen and Nikki, she is a villain. Villains can have soft spots for people, for kids. They very often do. But I keep seeing people saying things about, like, how Agatha was, like, trying to save Sharon, and I'm just like,
No, she wasn't.
no, she wasn't.
She literally goes, "Who?" after she died.
Exactly. Like, at the very, like, the entire time, she can never remember her name. Like, you can like a villain who has great emotional range, because she does. She has emotions. She does care for people. She's got a past where there were emotions and things like that. And also, this is fiction. You can like characters who are bad people, and that does not make you a bad person.
Mm-mm. It's the discussion around her death as well. Why
Mhm.
did she kiss death? Why did she make this decision? And the last thing that when Billy starts speaking into her mind, which is a huge deal because they've
Mhm.
shared if you notice her eye makeup, her outfit, everything is like more of it, instead of fully purple, it's got like a tinge of blue to it now
Yeah.
because she shared so much of Billy.
Mhm.
And he flat out asked her, "Is this how Nikki died?" And that's when she gives herself up because she
Yeah.
says, as a ghost, don't take this as me sacrificing for you. She did. She sacrificed
Yeah.
herself. She chose it to be her time because she realized what she was doing,
Mhm.
giving up Billy
Mhm.
for herself. And she didn't want to do that again. That
Yeah.
is redeemable, but that does not cancel out everything that she's done.
Exactly. It's just it gives her greater emotional range. That's all that it does. And I think I was saying this about the kiss, and we can talk about Agathario for a little while, just because I feel like we would be remiss
It's,
if we
yeah.
didn't go down a rabbit hole of that. Because there, like we said before, there is a very clear love between them. There, I think Jack Schaefer
Mm-hmm.
said, like, with the pining of the look on the brooms, like there's a very deep love there. The way she almost kissed her in episode 4, that leads me to believe that they have kissed before,
Oh, yeah.
because she went into that with little, like, hesitation, so that, like, people's like, "Oh, this was their first kiss." I'm like, I don't think so,
No.
because
They've kissed before.
they've kissed before, as we see, her Rio's actions don't always mean death. Like, yes, it's the kiss of death. It's magic is intent, but
Could it
she licked her palm and it healed her.
could it be it's how she's presenting herself? Because when she goes to kiss her in episode 4, she's presenting herself as the Green Witch. When she's in the house in the first one, when she licks the hand, she's not exactly like death. She's
Mhm.
like death. But when she is there, like fighting with them, she is in that full
She
garb,
is.
full death, like that bitch. Like, honestly.
I took it more as the kiss of death was more of a fruition of the Brujopedia thing that said Agatha had
Okay.
succubus powers.
Oh, I didn't think of
Because what we
that.
see in that kiss,
Is everything cool?
it's not just a kiss. She's siphoning off her magic, and we see her in the first episode, "I can't take your magic, it would kill me." So succubi, who don't people that do not know about succubi and incubi, they feed off of sexual and romantic energy off of people. That's how that they're like the
I didn't
usually.
think about
So
that.
that was
Ooh.
my taking of that one throwaway thing in the Brujopedia thing, that she has succubus powers. Like, yes, she does siphon off people's magic, but succubus is specifically romantic and sexual energy. So that was
It's like she
what
has a siphoning power, but that could have been exactly what she was doing with that.
exactly. It's what I said. It's the intent. She kissed her with the intent to siphon off her magic, turning what could have been a regular kiss into a kiss of death, because Rio doesn't seem to hesitate at all when she kisses
Mm-mm.
her. And again, fun fact, we
And
heard
then,
from
like, her eyes tear
yeah,
up when she
yeah,
realizes what she's done.
exactly, because she didn't want to be the one to kiss her. Like,
Mm-mm.
she didn't want to be the one. Sorry, she didn't want to be the one to really be her downfall. But I do love the fun fact from an interview that an EP did, that while filming that, she had to turn down the volume on her headphones because they were making out so loudly.
God, I love them.
I love it so much, because the two of them, like, again, if you don't know this, Catherine Hahn and Aubrey Plaza have been friends for years. Like,
Oh, yeah.
they worked very briefly together on Parks and Rec, but they knew each other through Parks and Rec, which I think is it. And they just have stayed friends. And they also, like, apparently, like, before filming, they would send, like, songs and, like, poems that reminded them of the relationship to each other, to kind of get, like, the history and everything. Rio did not want to be her downfall. She wanted to collect her because it was her
Mm-hmm.
time. Like you said, it's her job, but she didn't want to
She wants
be the
someone else to kill her.
exactly. She didn't want it can't be her generally at the end, except Agatha is accepting this as her death. That's how that works. But you could tell, as you said, she was tearing up. She didn't want this to be Agatha's
And her
end.
grave was so beautiful. Like
Mhm.
death did that. Like
Yeah.
she did that. It was I
Mhm.
cried so much. And
Yes.
then of course we leave off with Jen, the surviving witch, who has her
Mhm.
powers back and actively is the only one that actually believes the road is real.
Yes. Seeing how they filmed her flying away, though, I mean, it doesn't make it look any less
Oh, so
cool.
cool.
It is really just her, like, on, like, a zipline giant crane looking thing, but it doesn't make it look any less cool.
It looks like so much fun. She's like, I get to fly.
Yeah. And this is my last thing about episode 9 that I love about the way, because we've seen the different versions of the ballad throughout the show. And in the music, I love, actually, I have two more things, but this specifically, in the Agatha Through the Years version of the ballad, it's predominantly just Catherine Hahn. Like, it's mostly,
Yeah.
it's her melody line with a chorus of more or less indiscernible chorus members. And,
Mm-hmm.
like, I love that symbolizes that this is her journey until the final coven. The people themselves are so inconsequential individually that they only mattered as a collective to give her power. And also, I love the little shoulder shimmy that she does in, like, the 1920s or whatever era that one is, because it's just it's very cute. But she's
Very
using
cute.
Nikki's bell the entire time, the one that he stole.
Oh, he is. She is. And I love how everybody's obsessing about all the different outfits. And I'm like, y'all are sleeping on the 90s Agatha.
It's so good.
The 90s were such a resurgence
Mhm.
of feminism and witchcraft specifically
Mhm.
for women. And I think that's why I pinpoint, like, I focus so much on that one.
Yeah.
Because it does seem like it's keeps happening. Like the scenes keep happening in like big moments for women.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of tell one of them's like in the late 18 early 1900s
Yeah.
when women are like suffragettes.
Yeah.
And then we go straight into the 40s where women are having to like really stand up for themselves and work because of the
Mhm.
war.
Yeah.
And then we get, what was the one after that? The next one was there was another one. There's the 90s. It was the 90s and one other. I thought there was another one I'm
No,
missing.
it was the 90s. Yeah, it was the 90s, the 40s, like the 1880s ish. Like,
Yeah.
or like
That's what the like I feel like I'm
suffragette.
missing one, but it must not be. Oh,
Yeah,
well, just the original one. Her original,
that's the
like
late
when
set.
she began.
That's like the 1756.
Yes, that's like 1750s. So like it on top of that, it's also like big moments for women because
Mm-hmm.
it is
Yeah.
like and I really love that they kind of did that as well.
Mm-hmm. This is my last thing about this episode is like for how much. I mean, obviously we say Agatha became a ghost because her ex Death hates ghosts, which is hilarious. But again, kudos to the costume designer because I see elements of Rio's corseted outfits, like her the
Yep,
way like the rib looking thing on the corset. That looks a lot like the stuff that Rio wears, just saying.
it does. It actually lights up the
Yeah.
dress.
Yeah, seeing those
It's just
behind the
so
scenes
cool. Like,
seeing those behind the scenes
oh,
is so much fun.
and I mean, part of it's spite. Part
Oh,
of
yeah.
it's, as she says, I can't face him. She can't face Nikki because he didn't want to keep doing it. He didn't
Mhm.
want to keep helping his mom con these people and steal their powers. He
Yeah.
did not. He was a good kid.
Mhm.
He loved his mom, and she kept doing it anyways.
And she used the thing he created to keep doing it.
And she's ashamed of that.
Yeah.
So while she's still a villain and has done horrible things, you can still have some redeemable qualities and feel guilt for the decisions that you've made.
Yeah.
And so she's not entirely a psychopath,
No, she
but
has emotions.
she has emotions. But and like she really is making the choice. I feel like she's trying to redeem herself by helping Billy.
Yeah.
If she helps Billy, maybe she can face Nikki.
Mhm.
And that's what's holding her back. That's what's keeping her as a ghost. Is I think she feels that she needs to do something, do the right thing to be able to face her son and pass
Yeah.
on.
Mhm. I
And
agree.
we're going to see that. She's going to do that because
Yeah.
it looks like they're putting together the Young Avengers.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. But
So
I say,
yeah.
yeah, this show obviously we've been gushing about this for the last hour and a half. I have
Oops.
I have a few slight critiques before we get into like our ranking of the episodes, just because like
Mhm.
nothing. We always say this: we don't love something if we don't critique it. That nothing is perfect.
That's the literal premise of what we do.
Like, that's our podcast is critiquing things that we love, and like even stuff that is well done, well written, well executed, it's going to fall into some very common tropes, two of which being bury your gaze because Agatha kisses her ex-girlfriend and then dies.
Mhm.
And there are some elements of fridging. I know that like with what she says that she didn't kill herself for him. but she kind of did. And still, at the end of the day, to move his story forward, multiple women had to die. And that is the literal definition of fridging. So
Yeah.
it's even when things are well executed, it's hard to avoid these things. It's just unfortunately they are just very common tropes of the genre that we see that hopefully in the future we'll kind of stop seeing. And
Yeah.
one critique I see a lot of the flashbacks that we saw in episode 9, because it did feel like they were trying to bring in more elements of Rio and Agatha's relationship. That's what it felt like. And as we later found out, that's not what happened, but I'm not mad at the flashbacks for what we have. It does feel like we're missing some pieces of their story. I would love to see how Agatha and Rio met. I want to see things before Nikki came around. But the point of the flashbacks was to show the origin of the road, not them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are a part of that story, and that feels like something that maybe could be in future projects. Maybe we'll see it. Maybe an IP book someday. I would mind that, but it's more a case of the story. The flashbacks told the story they were meant to tell, which was the origin of the road,
Mm-hmm.
and it did them very well. I'm not mad. I'm upset on a deep personal level that I would have liked more Sapphic, but Disney is full of cowards. What can we say?
Maybe this is a good sign that we're leading somewhere, though.
Yeah.
Because this, even though it got review bombed and a lot of people didn't like it. Like I actually saw reviews. They're like, it's woke because literally just for the trans flag, like the trans lives matter flag in the room. 1-star review because of that.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. I saw it. Oh God.
That's that person's problem.
That is that person's problem. But even with all of that, this show has had millions upon millions of views within 24 hours of the episode coming out. It is I think one of the most successful Marvel TV shows they've put out.
I think it was the second highest. I think the premiere or one of the episodes in it was the second highest rated or viewed MCU TV episode since the Loki season 2 finale.
And I haven't finished Loki season 2. Like we're still working on that. So, it's just, oh man. And it proved, like when you actually see the views and see how everyone acted around this, while I enjoyed, like I didn't go on my phone during it. I always saw the Agatha All Along watch party stuff afterwards. And I love that people were doing that, but that kind of brought on the people asking questions that were actively explained in the episode. You'd kind of be like, you'd sit there and be like, why is his costume like this? Where did he get the costume? Have you watched WandaVision?
Yeah.
Like certain things that could be easily explained. And people are on the internet immediately. But what's this mean? They explained it word for word in the episode. So maybe while I enjoy that the community is getting together and talking about it and live tweeting, because I can't call it live threading. It sounds too weird.
No, I'm with you.
I still need people to pay a little bit more attention.
Yeah, I think the only time I ever picked up my phone to type something while watching the episode was immediately after If You Want Straight Answers, Ask a Straight Lady. I had to post that on Threads very quickly. Other than that, I also waited until I was done because I liked watching the show that way. I liked being able to just sit and watch a show. Knowing other people were watching it at the same time and knowing that if I go on to Threads afterwards, I'll see a bunch of stuff about it. I missed that because I really haven't had that since Once Upon a Time.
This is my first time having this because I never went on Twitter.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so I never really had this experience before. And I was on Tumblr in the Sure Who Lock days.
Yeah.
But it's different on there, I feel.
Yeah, I would agree.
But yeah. 10 out of 10 in my opinion though.
Yeah, we love
it. We've watched it so many times already.
The fact that we could watch it the day of recording and like it's that says a lot. The fact that we can I rewatched, I would say prior to the finale, I think I had watched every episode at minimum twice, if not 3 times.
Same.
So this was my first time going all the way through it. So this is the second time for episodes 8 and 9, but I've seen every other episode at least 4 times.
I think I've watched twice everything up to Lilia and then did my rewatch just because life got busy.
Yeah.
But it's something I'll gladly turn on again. Like it's one of those ones you just want to keep watching and watching and watching.
Yep.
It's very, very, like you said, it's very rewatchable and you can pick up on things every time you watch.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see how we both ranked these.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
we did
curious.
this with Has Been Hotel.
Yeah. So do you want to start? So do you want to start from the bottom, then go up?
So like 9 to 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to go first?
Sure. You want to go back and forth, or you want to do it one at a time?
Let's do one. Let's do one at a time. As you say them, I'll write down yours. That way, I can see how we compare. So hang on.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
If you send me this clip, I'll make a YouTube video.
Sounds good.
If you mark this clip, it'd be fun. All right. So 9, I did put episode 9, Maiden
Okay.
Mother Crone, because it really is just an extended post-credit scene. Like,
yeah, no, that's fair.
I love it. It's important. It's great. I love it. I would say I love every episode.
Oh yeah.
But that's why that's that one.
Okay.
8 would be episode 1.
Okay.
7 is going to be the 3rd episode. 6 is going to be episode 2. 5 is episode 6. 4 is episode 4.
Okay, that's a good place for it to be.
Right? 3 is episode 8. 2 is going to be episode 5. And then 1 is 7. It has to be. It's Lilia's. Lilia's episode is a work of fucking art. So that's my number 1.
At my first glance, you and I only have one that matches.
Wow. We did this with Has Been too. We did not have a lot in common.
Yeah. Let me double check. Yeah. There are some that are just one off. But yeah, no, our rankings are completely different. So my lowest ranked episode is episode 6.
Okay.
It's necessary backstory, but again, if I can skip 15 minutes of it and feel okay about that, that says a lot about me. It says a lot about me and about how I feel about the episode. My next one up is episode 3. It's the beginning. It's a good trial, but it's perfectly fine. I have nothing against it. You're gonna hate me. My next one's episode 5.
No, I don't hate you.
Like, okay, with the exception of episode 6, because episode 6 is the one that I really say I'm indifferent to. I very much enjoy the rest of them. Like, I have very few issues. It's just, do I like them as much as others?
See, for me, 5 is simply because the horror aspect.
I know,
I am a
which is
horror
why you
fan.
love it. I'm aware. So, but for me, the horror stuff doesn't do as much for me, so which is why it's lower on my ranking. And then the next one for me is then episode 9. It's an extended post-credit scene, but it's, I don't know, something about the way Kathryn Hahn acts with children, because she's a mother. Like, she's so good as acting as a mother, but also as acting as someone who actively hates children.
Yeah,
she's so good at both. So it's just a lot of fun and pain to watch. Next up is episode 1. That's our direct middle. That's in the 5th spot.
Okay.
It's the premiere. It's our exposition. It tells us what we need to know, but it's good. Then episode 2 is next, because it's the introduction. It's the rest of the exposition. It's the rest of our characters, and it's got so many funny one-liners as we meet everybody. It has the ballad, and it's a lot of fun to watch. Then next is episode 8 for me, because it's a real plot finale. It's a lot of plot.
Yeah. Is that both the one we match?
No.
Which one did we match? Never mind. Keep going.
No. Sorry. Okay. So again, so we have 2 that match. 8 is the one that matches. 8. Oh wait. No.
My third.
No.
Third
wait.
one.
Did I? Yeah. Okay. I can't read my own writing. Yes. 8 is also your third. So yes, that one does match. So sorry. There was 2. That's my bad. So then my next one, my number 2 is episode 4. That one I could rewatch over and over and over again, like by itself, because it's my favorite version of the ballad. It's probably my favorite trial, and it's just all of it. It's got the very deeply unserious spell to summon Rio, and I love it so much. And so then our other one that matches is our number 1, which is episode 7, Lilia's trial. That episode, Death's Hand in Mind. So because it's
a work of fucking art.
It's a work of art. It's so smartly written. It's so well performed. Patti LuPone is fucking amazing. So we had 2 that match. That was my bad. We had our number 1 and our number 3 slots match
See, and this is our whole premise of our podcast is it's subjective. We have
Mhm.
different opinions, but as if you aren't used to our podcast, if you're coming in just for this special, this is how we approach everything.
Yeah, we come
Very
at
analytical.
Yeah, we're very analytical. I'd say we're very academic is the way that we come at things, and we come at things with a lot of nuance in that we like the things we like, we dislike the things we dislike. It's never an attack on those that disagree with us. If you like something we don't like, especially if you've been listening to the Once Upon a Time episodes about season 3, uh, for the beginning of season 3, never an attack on you if you like the things we dislike. But we don't love things without finding fault in them.
It's a passion project. We're passionate about it.
Exactly. We're going to find critique. We don't love things because we think they're perfect. We love things because we love them. I mean, to be fair, we have been saying 10 out of 10 this entire time, but like even with episodes that we give perfect scores on our main series, there's always something to critique. There's something to talk about that bugs us. There's always something. We critique things because we love them, and that's very important to us.
Extremely. And now we're going to do movies.
And soon we'll be doing movies, which will be even better because that's going to be it. Hopefully, we'll see how long those movie episodes last. I think I'd be shocked. This has got to be our longest podcast episode.
Oh, I think it is
so far because I'm gonna check real fast because even with like pausing to find things like real fast,
we've done quite a few specials at this point. Also, if you like Has Been Hotel, we did a Has Been Hotel special, and we will be doing another one for season 2. Yeah. This is our second show, like full watch of a show that we've done a special on.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's just Once Upon a Time in Bob's Burgers, which is so much fun, and we have over 100 episodes of that recorded.
Yes, but like even like our even our specials are usually not much further over an hour. Our longest episodes that predate this one are season finales for Once Upon a Time because we do 2 episodes. We do the final 2 episodes of each season for that one, and even then, our longest of those 2 was an hour and 35 minutes.
So we have already surpassed that.
So this is our longest podcast episode so far. Wow. Because, and to be fair, like we didn't go episode by episode through Has Been Hotel. We talked about it as a whole because that one is a lot easier to talk about as one 3-hour movie, basically.
This one's different. You really got to look at each episode because each episode is a different trial. You have the various different reveals within the different episodes. Because that's another reason I like the one I like so much too is it's revealed he's Billy at the end. Yeah. And it's done so well. So it's one of those you really got to look at it episode by episode because they mean something, especially with how they're released. Like we said, first 2 and last 2 have got to be together. I don't think you can watch them by themselves. No, I would agree. But yeah. And we look forward to anything else Jack Schaefer wants to put on our screens. Everything. Give me everything. Give us everything. Put this person on every single project. Let's put Jack Schaefer in charge of everything. Let's have her do everything Catherine Hahn and Aubrey Plaza will ever do again. Did you see what Jack Schaefer wanted to do, but Marvel said no? Was it the cottage thing? No. I don't know. I don't know if I know what you're talking about. Oh, you don't know who Madison is, do you? Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I saw that. She wanted to bring in Madison and they told her no. How great. Madison talking to Agatha and Rio. Would she have gotten killed immediately? I have no idea, but how fucking funny would that have been? Just put Jen and Madison in the same room. Oh my God. I need Patti LuPone to just slap her. It'd be so much fun. Can Patti LuPone slap me? Thank you all for listening. Join us at our regularly scheduled time to talk more about all things Once Upon a Time in Bob's Burgers. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you'd like to join our Patreon, you can find the link with more details in our show notes. This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Lauren and Katie and edited by Lauren.